Folks, drama, bin drama, Arab drama, all drama zote pamoja. In a Jubilee Party parliamentary group meeting at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, KICC, that lasted less than 30 minutes, Majority Leader Aden Duale was gone. What? Those who attended are telling us only two people spoke. Secretary General of the party, Raphael Tuju, and party leader and president of the country, President Uhuru Kenyatta. The president came up with a proposal for a change, as to who is to be the party majority leader. He proposed Kipipiri legislator Amos Kimunya. A vote was taken and it was done. New majority leader Amos Kimunya. It is said that the deputy party leader and the deputy president of the country, William Samoei Ruto, was asked whether he had anything to say. He said, no, he has nothing to say. Meeting over. Hey, the Jubilee Party has to be the most disciplined political party anywhere. No arguments, no points of order, no questions like, excuse me, Your Excellency, but could you maybe clarify, if it is possible, Your Excellency, the reason why we're changing the majority leader, Your Excellency? Nothing like that. I mean, who could dare? And the president emerged from the very brief PG in very high spirits. So much so that he paused to speak to journalists who were at a distance on the other side of his vehicle. And he promised that very soon journalists would receive a full roadmap of where all this is going. At the right time, very soon. And a cheeky journalist posed the question, can you give us an idea? Drop some clues or something like that. The president's response, wewe, wacha ujeuri. And everybody burst out in laughter, including the president. He was in very high spirits. The new majority leader, Amos Kimunya, also emerged from the KICC in very high spirits. I am sure he knew that journalists would crowd around him for a statement, for a comment. And you could see that the man was drinking in all the attention, if you know what I mean. And quite rightly so, he's a politician. Although I dare add, it's been a long time since journalists crowded around Bwana Kimunya, Honorable Kimunya, wanting to know what he has to say. I think the last time he used to enjoy this kind of attention was around 2012, late 2012, early 2013, when he was a member of President Mwai Kibaki's cabinet. At another less used exit from the KICC, some journalists cornered former majority leader Aden Duale, and he greeted them, making an effort to be cheerful. And one journalist asked him to reveal what had happened inside the closed-door PG meeting. He responded, you know what has happened. Now, a few minutes ago, I saw a report somewhere where they declared that the purge against the deputy president and his allies was now officially over. Implying that the last ally of the deputy president in an important position in parliament had been dealt with. But those who wrote this report probably missed the press statement from State House that said very clearly, quoting the president, saying the new majority leader and majority whip will communicate to the Speaker by Thursday, 25th June, Thursday this week, changes to the composition of the various House committees. And there was a part of that statement that really caught my eye. The sentence that says, the President said the coalition would communicate the changes. That can only mean that as we speak, the President is actually forming a new government. That is the truth. But maybe it is too dramatic. So shall we say that there are some adjustments being made? And I believe we can now confidently speculate that these adjustments are not going to be only in House committees, but also in the cabinet. Which brings us to the question, what is the President looking for in all these adjustments, if we can call them that? The simple answer is looking for loyal and focused troops. And in a way you can understand him. His time is very short. His time is almost coming to an end. 2022 is rapidly coming. And the President has a very ambitious agenda before he leaves office. And so the kind of people he's looking for are the kind of people he will tell, punch that wall, for example. And they will respond, how hard, Mr. President? Or even better, yes, Mr. President, sir. As opposed to those who would respond, aye, Mr. President, did you really say I punched this wall? I'm sure you get my drift. He's looking for yes men. There's no time for debate. And therefore it should be super instructive that Honorable Amos Kimunya in fact has a track record in being exactly that kind of person who takes instructions to the letter, and gets the details and all the other questions he may have answered elsewhere, as he is already implementing what he has been instructed to do. Better informed Kenyans will know that I'm referring mostly to the Grand Regency scandal, where poor Amos Kimunya was roasted. In fact, he had to resign. And yet he was just following instructions. And suffering the consequences of what his boss, President Moi Kibaki, desperately did before the 2007 elections to raise money for his campaign. But I will address that in great detail in part 2 of this video. The other thing you need to know is that the President getting loyal people within the Jubilee party alone was impossible. Why? Because David Murathe told us that in the 2017 Jubilee nominations, a man called William Samoei Ruto handpicked most of the people who got the Jubilee nominations. And therefore many people who were elected owe their position or their victory in that election to Deputy President William Ruto. Again, it is instructive that Amos Kimunya is not one of those people who owe their election into Parliament to the Deputy President. And it is because of this situation where it is so difficult for the President to get loyal people he can trust within Jubilee that a coalition or the coalitions that Jubilee has entered into make perfect sense. Because you will not find somebody more loyal than a member of a coalition party who has been brought into government. Out of the cold, as Kenyans say, into government. Straight into a huge salary, security, and all the perks that go with it. So, do you expect such a person to listen to any other voice, other than the voice of his boss? I mean, it is human nature. Such a person would bend over backwards to please, even without the privileges of a big office. For instance, just being put on some committee in Parliament is a big deal. Because in Kenya, being in government is everything. Do I need to remind you of how ODM legislators have been behaving since the handshake? I don't think so. In fact, it has often been said that ODM legislators are more Jubilee than Jubilee members. Oh yes, and that is absolutely true. Now, what all these changes are going to do, the most important thing they're going to do, is they will neutralize the power and the influence of the deputy president. And it also means that the president and his main partner, former Prime Minister Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, are planning to ask parliamentarians to punch the wall. What do I mean? There are some things they're going to be asked to do in parliament that ordinarily, they would have stopped the president, respectfully, of course, and asked him, Mr. President, please clarify this. Do you really think that something like this can go through parliament? But now, the response the president is going to get is the same response he got during the latest PG meeting at the KICC today. So and so, you've heard my instructions. Is there anything you want to say? No, Mr. President. No, sir. No, sir, Mr. President. What that means is that you go into a meeting and you take notes, and you swallow your doubts, and you figure out how you're going to accomplish what you've been instructed to do later. You don't debate with your boss about the possibilities and the impossibilities of doing whatever he has instructed you to do. It is like being employed in a company, where the boss wants to achieve the results of 5 years in 6 months. I kid you not. Because a number of years ago, I used to work for exactly such a company. And I would receive a call on my desk from the boss. And he'd say, can you come over to my office right away? And sometimes when he made that call, I was busy with a client. But I wouldn't say in that company, I wouldn't dare say, I'm sorry, sir, I'm busy with a client. Or can you give me 10 minutes? I finished with my client. No! That's not how things used to work in that company. And then when I'd go into his office, he would say something like, I can see sales are doing very well. Now I want us next month to triple these sales. I was the marketing manager, and I knew the effort it had taken to get that achievement. And so immediately said that, I would start sweating. And my mind would be racing. We worked so hard to achieve this. Now this man wants times 3. Will that be possible? Why am I working in this company? This guy is mad. But of course I would not tell him that. That was what was racing through my mind as I furiously took down notes. And then he would sometimes ask, any questions? And of course I'd say, no, there are no questions. From Amos Kimunya's statement to the press today, I clearly heard him say the following. I am not taking this new appointment lightly. As finance minister, Honorable Kimunya was very close to the president and therefore very powerful. Indeed, there was a time when people were talking about Bwana Kimunya as a very prospective presidential candidate to take over from Kibaki. This was the talk in the Mount Kenya region at the time. And so it is easy to see or to imagine in the discussion before the decision was reached to take on Bwana Kimunya. It is easy to imagine somebody saying, this man has been a very powerful cabinet minister. Will he be able to do what we want him to do? Because it is likely that he will take this particular appointment lightly. Majority leader, of course, is an important person, but he has been much more powerful before in government. And I'm sure Honorable Kimunya sensed these possible reservations. And that is why he said what he said. Yeah, meaning that he is more than ready to be completely loyal and to punch any walls very hard that need to be punched. Now, in part 2 of our show today, we will take a closer look at this man, Amos Kimunya. Make sure you don't miss it. Until then, this is Chris Kumekucha.